If there's one thing that a network administrator does a lot of, it's troubleshooting. And the Network Plus exam is going to ask you questions about basic troubleshooting. So we're going to talk about that in this video. But let's start with a question. What's the best way to describe a really good troubleshooter? One word: experienced. Efficient, effective troubleshooting is as much art as it is technical knowledge, and most of that art just comes from the repetitive act of troubleshooting problems over and over and over. Now, there are 7 specific troubleshooting steps that you need to know and practice for the Network Plus exam. Number 1, identify the problem. Number 2, establish a theory of probable cause for that problem. Number 3, test that theory. Number 4, establish a plan of action to attempt resolution. Number 5, implement the solution or escalate the problem. Number 6, verify the functionality. And number 7, document what happened. Prepare documentation. So let's go through these. Now, they will expect you to know these in this order on the exam. First up, identify the problem. This is the very first thing you do when you arrive on the scene. Question users. Now, we're not trying to absolutely for sure find out, but we want their perspective. And understand sometimes users are frightened, they're nervous, they think you're there to find out what they've been up to, that sort of thing. So just question them, get their take on it. Some of it will be right, some of it will be wrong. Then identify the symptoms based on what you're seeing, based on what you're hearing. If you have log or error files that are available, you can check those to see if it sheds any light on what's going on. And then always determine if anything has changed. Has anything been loaded? Has anything been updated? Has anything happened that could have caused this? Number 2, establish a theory of probable cause. Ask obvious question. There's no such thing as a stupid question when you're trying to troubleshoot, and always check the easiest solutions first. There's all those old jokes out there about working on a computer only to find out that it wasn't plugged up and you couldn't figure out why it wouldn't power up. Or you check network connections, you do all sorts of things only to find that the cable's unplugged in the back. Then, once you have established a theory of what you think it is, test that theory. You want to confirm your theory. You want to talk to more people, see if that's really what it is. Let me go back to that just a moment. Let's say that someone tells you that something did change. You want to confirm what was changed. You want to confirm that it's actually been loaded on this computer. Otherwise, if you have a theory and you don't confirm it, you could chase a rabbit for a while before you realize what the problem really is. Number 4, establish a plan of action to attempt resolution. Now, here's the deal. In a network, it gets kind of complex sometimes, especially when you're dealing with servers or network devices. Consider the implications of an attempted solution. We might have a problem here, but at least the server's up and running and it's supplying other requests. If we try an attempted solution and the server fails, our situation is going to get worse, okay? So always stop and consider who and what will be affected by this attempted solution. And what if this solution is not the real reason for this trouble or make the problem worse here? Will servers or services need to be taken down for me to correct this? If so, probably want to backpedal just a little bit and find out when's the best time to take the server down, who's depending on these services, so I might want to get some more folks involved. How long do things need to be taken down? And then I want to attempt one solution at a time. If I try 3 things at once and everything's working, I don't know which one did it, so I'm at a loss here. Or maybe if I try more than one thing, one solution might correct it, the other solution might break it again, and I'm back to square one. Number 5, implement the solution or escalate. I always want to implement the solution and test after attempting that solution. Always, I want to remember that first impressions can be very deceptive. So when I implement a solution, I want to test, and make sure everything is working. And then here's the big one, and this is really hard for network people to do. Escalate. If you aren't sure about the technology, the device, any other aspect of it, escalate the problem. Now keep in mind, there's not a single administrator out there who knows everything. So you're not expected to know everything. You're not being paid to know everything, but you are being paid to find a solution, even if finding a solution means getting help or escalating a problem. Number 6, verify the functionality. Some solutions will create additional problems. You not only want to check the problem that was going on that you got the call about, you want to verify full system functionality. not just the problem you encountered, because from time to time you've seen it. You correct this issue and it breaks something else. Now, experience is particularly helpful here, but always check before you leave and make sure that everything's working. Maybe I have corrected some network issue, but the user can't print now. And maybe something I did has contributed to that. Maybe not. Maybe it's just coincidence. The very last thing, and you always want to do this, is prepare documentation. Thorough documentation is vital. We need to know in the documentation when the problem occurred, why the correction was made, what the correction was, everything. And why do we want to keep this stuff? And we also want to know positive and negative results. I tried to reboot the system and it didn't work. I tried to stop and restart a service. It didn't work. We want positive and negative results. We also want to know who performed the correction. Now, why do we need to know all this stuff? Well, this is going to assist other admins in the future, and you may be that admin. 6 months down the road, you can't remember what you did. You just know you did something. Something didn't work. Something made it worse. You finally found a solution. So document that problem and each step involved in the solution each and every time. This really helps when you bring other admins on board as well. So that's basic troubleshooting. Know those 7 steps because you will see them mentioned on the exam.